Hey, Bloodworth here. This segment is cut out from the Easy Allies podcast, which we record every week. You can catch full episodes on Sunday mornings, or if you become a patron at $5 and up, you can get early access and get those on Fridays. Thank you and enjoy. Next up, one that we've been looking forward to for a while.
Yes.
Isla's been able to put some time into preview of Pacific Drive.
Got him hyped.
Yeah.
The Road Light.
Road light.
On it.
Yeah, so let me see if I can talk and put B-roll under me without blocking myself. Okay, there we go. I'll just go back here. Haha. Yeah, so this is my B-roll. I captured this. Yeah, I played for, I don't know, three or something hours. Couple of disclosures. I know people who make this game, and I can now say I'm in this game. The credits are in this preview build, and I watched them, and my name is in them, so I'm like, okay, I can say this now. Very small little cameos, on the radio. But what's the audible version of blinking? Shut your ears and you'll miss it, but I'm in there. See if you can find me. I don't know, Instagram at me if you hear me in the game when it comes out. But yeah, so obviously up top there are, all the things that you want this game to be good at. It's really good at. The driving feels really good. Like it tells you when your traction control is on or when you're like off balance, and you can really kind of feel that. It's really creepy. It's obviously the vibes. It's scary. It's weird. Being in your car feels very, very like safe. The feeling you get when you're in your car at night and you're warm and snug, but it's like cold and scary outside. Like that's this game on crack. So that's all a huge success.
Nice.
It's very like survival game. It's very there are a lot of controls.
Right. And let's get like some top level of it too. Like you've got this station wagon.
Yeah.
In the Pacific Northwest, in this place called like the something
Pacific exclusion zone.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So yeah, it's if you're familiar with Annihilation, it's that. It's Area X. It's some weird event has taken place and kind of made this entire area uninhabitable and very dangerous to be in, and usually people can't get in there. In the very, very beginning of the game, you get kind of sucked into it. Intentionally. And yeah, so you're in there and it has like instability of itself. The world and the ground and the trees and the rocks and everything can't maintain its own isness. It's a Heideggerian nightmare in here. The Gestelle is all fucked up. But yeah, like, so you can go in and everything will be all different and weird. And if you're stuck in it, you're like, it hurts you and it messes your car up and everything like that. But you go out on excursions to get parts and to get more salvage and scraps and all that kind of stuff. And then you come back to the base and you can upgrade your car. And upgrading the car feels really satisfactory, and making it kind of your own feels really good. And I imagine later in the game that once you can like, really tank it out and like paint it. Like I got some paint and some decals and stuff. So like later on you'll see that it's rusted as hell, but like I get like racing stripes on it and it's like kind of a baby blue, It's like, okay, my little car, And
then like all kinds of like different types of materials and
you have to get
armor and stuff for different types of enemies.
Yeah, different sorts of metals. And then you have to upgrade. You have to use a forge in the like main area to get new blueprints, and then once you know though, standard kind of crafting game, survival game sort of progression in that sense. But the its strength is its vibes, and that you do grow really attached to your car. Also, there's a dumpster called the Friendly Dumpster that has some kind of like entity living in it, and when you click on it, when you go up to it, it kind of just gives you what it thinks you need in
That's
that
amazing.
moment. Like,
They said that like
kind of-
you'll never be in a situation where your car just becomes inoperable. The dumpster will always like give you something that you can use to get back on the road.
Yeah, and within it, it doesn't just fix every problem you've got. Like,
Right.
there were a couple of times where it's like, okay, I've got flat tires, but I've got to go back out because I can't fix them right now, One time I think it was a bug, but because it wouldn't let me craft anything. And I was like, well, this is weird, but it's a preview build, and they said that there was some little things like that might happen. But
and a lot of it is like really, like you're talking about like the working on your car and upgrading your car. And like a lot of it is very kind of physical, visceral stuff. Like I remember when I was at GDC and I played it a little bit, it was like I got in and I'm ready to go and I like hit the gas and like, oh, you have to turn the key.
yeah, it's very, you have to open and shut the back, hatch thing to get into the trunk. And if you try to close it while you're standing there, it'll bonk you on the head and it won't close,
Right.
And like if your wheel gets damaged, you can feel the handling of the car change. Like your car will shift, it'll lean backward if your back left tire is flat or gone, that kind of stuff is very well done. And yeah, you have to turn the key. You have to put the car in park or it'll start. Like there was once where I was like, I got out of the car and I'm like, oh, I'm going to grab this thing real quick. And I turn around and like, the car's just rolling down a hill, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" It's like, come back. So that's really fun, and it really does feel very physical, which I really like about it.
How does the walking around stuff feel? Because
It's good.
every time I see it, it's like they get out and like don't go far from the car. Is that usually the case?
Yeah, that is because of one of the chief successes of the game is you don't want to be out of your car.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
you feel scared when you're out of your car. When you're in your car, you're like, what was that sound? And you're looking around. But when you're out of your car, you're like, oh God, oh God.
Yeah.
And like in the preview portions, I got the impression that it was sort of, I saw some entities and some enemies like, for viewers, there was like a floating kind of drone thing that you could see a second ago. But like there were these floating drones, and one of them latched onto my car at one point and like tried to pull me or pull something off my car.
Yeah,
but I just
they'll like
drove away.
They're little thieves. They'll like steal parts off of your car, or if you have cargo up there, or sometimes they'll just like rip a door off.
Yeah, and then there were like buzzsaws in the ground or things that like little like power transmitters that would pop up and like lightning would shoot between them. The mannequins that kind of just show up are called tourists, and I never saw them move, but I'm pretty sure that I looked away, and then when I looked back, there was some there that weren't there before.
Right.
That kind of stuff is going on.
Classic.
The ground will heave up in front of you sometimes, that kind of stuff. But I get the impression, or at least I assume, that later on there are going to be like, stuff comes after you if you're out of the car for too long, that kind of stuff. And there's a storm that kind of, especially when you start, because you kind of teleport out of each area at the end and you teleport in. I was a little surprised by that when I started, because I thought I would drive everywhere. And it's kind of a combination, and I assume it's because things maybe move and get randomized or something, I don't know. But like when you leave the garage, you drive to a point and then it says traveling, loading. And then it goes to the place you were going to, or the first leg of your journey. So if you're going somewhere farther away, you'll teleport to that part, like leg 1. You'll have to drive to the next part, and then you'll kind of get transported to the next leg. And then to get back to the garage at the end of that, you need to have glowing orange power thing called like an anchor, I think, stable energy.
Anchors, yeah, that's right.
And you have to put them in your ARC device, which is the thing that sits in the passenger seat. And then you have to find and get to this giant glowing pillar that will teleport you back to the garage before the storm that starts destabilizing the area.
Yeah.
So like
it's like the battle royale.
It's like a battle royale.
circle,
Yeah, it's like the
Got it.
storm. So like to get out, you have to activate a very quickly moving Eye of the Storm thing, and then you have to race it out to get to the thing. And it was really funny because some of the characters that talked to you, one of them said, she was like, I know that thing looks like hot death, but just drive into it. You'll be fine, probably. And then when you get back, she's like, you lived. Okay. Didn't know if that would work. Yeah, it's those are all the successes. I think it's really good. I think that there are a few things. My issues with the game are things that I think are pretty easily fixed in patches. Main thing, and I've seen other people talk about this too, is like, there's a devastating amount of information on the like menu, like,
the HUD
screen.
Yeah,
not
like
just up, not like having the HUD in the car like that. That's all great, but I mean like in the pause menu, in the equipment menu, you go over to the tooltips, and there's just like, there's something written about everything, and it's nice when you need it, but I don't want to have to feel like I need to read a lot of that stuff to get things,
right.
Especially in a preview setting where it's just like, I want to just kind of, go and see what's going on. So there's definitely that. There's like a lot of, there was one part where the main narrating character said, I'm going to turn these two guys off, and, their stuff will just go to your tooltips thing. And I was like, no, I'd rather have them talk to me. So
I'm really thankful for this preview, because now I'm like adjusting my vibes of it, because it looks like, I knew it was going to be like a survival, like pretty intense game, but now it looks like really survivally, really
it's
hardcore.
More survival than I expected. It's more simulation-y than I expected.
Yep. And I was expecting that, but this is even like way more than I was expecting.
Which is not
out.
bad.
Yeah. Just different.
Yeah. It's I expected it to be a little lighter on that and a little heavier on like just kind of go get weird, like freaky stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll probably get into that, but there's a lot of menu and a lot of controls and a lot of, do I hold RB for this or do I tap RB for this? Do I hit X or do I hold X? The menu stuff is a little clunky. And objectives, another thing I think needs a little attention is that objectives are a little unclear sometimes, or it'll just give you an objective, but it's not exactly clear how to achieve that objective. For example, there was one mission where you had to build an antenna, and I needed stable energy, which is the thing that you get from anchors, and you put it in the arc device in your car, and that's how you teleport, right? And I'm like, okay, I need to grab another one of those giant ball things and bring it back in my car.
Love giant ball things.
Yeah, so I had one, and I was walking around, and it's irradiating me while I'm carrying it.
Right.
And then I can't put it into my inventory. I can't put it into my car, but it's not telling me that. So I'm just like, what's happening, And then when I get, so then I just kind of put it into the arc device. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just have charge. And then I left. And then when I got back, the thing had the energy it needed. And I'm like, oh, okay, the car just has to be charged with that. And that's enough, But the game didn't specify that. It was just like, fix the antenna, use the forge. But the forge is like, I need stable energy. And I'm like, okay, kind of in that regard. And then, so it's like, it's not really a big deal, but it's just kind of a little unclear. Sometimes stuff on the to-do list is a little unclear too, where it's like, put all your stuff in the garage storage. But it had just given me a box from the friendly dumpster. And I'm like, okay, so I put everything in that box, but it's like, put everything in garage storage. And I was like, I just put it in the box you gave me right after you told me to do that. Is that not what you want me to do? Just little things like that, But these are easily, I think, massageable.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
hyped.
all in all, like, yeah, it's super hyped, and like, if you like taking your time and doing survival stuff in a creepy, weird fiction environment, and especially if you like feeling like one with your vehicle, you're gonna love this game. A fun little kind of narrative hook that I always like when games do this, when like kind of your experience mirrors the experience in the game. They say that they're theorizing maybe that your car is a remnant or whatever, like some kind of, is that what they call it? Whatever. It's like an AO. What is it from Control? Like an altered item.
Like an object of power.
Object
kind of
of power. Your car is basically an object of power.
Sick.
And they're like, yeah. So anyone who's in this zone and encounters one of these objects, they sort of like glom onto each other, and it always 100% of the time ends up driving the person completely insane.
Hell yeah.
Like you get more and more obsessed, and then you go insane, and they're like, yeah, that's probably gonna happen to you. And it's like you do start feeling more like close and ownership of your car as you start to like personalize it, you know. So I'm kind of like, that's kind of a funny way to sort of narratively kind of state that you're getting obsessed with your vehicle, kind of.
Yeah, from
it's
what
cool.
you said and then what I've played myself, it feels like there's that obsession there, but it's like you kind of maybe have to get over the hump of like just everything feeling kind of overwhelming. Of like, okay,
Like Darkest Dungeon.
I think like this game had a higher learning curve than I expected it to. I expected you to just jump in and drive and see weird stuff and like put new parts in your car. And I almost kind of appreciate that it's harder core, because for the people who put in the work up front to learn the systems and learn the controls and, you know, kind of get through all of that stuff, once you're in the kind of loop of it and that stuff becomes second nature, I think it will be really rewarding, and that the complexity of the systems will actually really be able to support a more nuanced and complicated gaming experience on the whole. So yeah, there's a lot more depth to it than I expected. It's just like up top in a 4-hour preview, you know, it's like my whole experience of the game is learning the game, you know. So now I'm like, right when the demo kind of ended, and it said, you know, you can keep playing, but you won't make story progress, and this doesn't carry over, you know. So I played for another like 40 minutes, but then I was like, okay, cool. I definitely think that now that I know it better, I'll have a lot more fun with it. So high learning curve, but great time once you get past it.
Get ready for those late night streams. Chad.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one. All night, Pacific Drive.
Yeah, at night, midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Yup.
But yeah, that's coming out end of February, the 22nd. PC and PS5.
Hell yeah.